Welcome to the Chronicles, told by the Chronikle. Cases of the missing, murdered, and unsolved. I'd like to thank everyone for watching today, and don't forget to head over to thecertifiedoracle.com where you'll find source information for today's episode. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a case. Let's get started with Chronicle number 6, the Macin Darrin Smith case. The year was 2015. Jurassic World had taken over the big screen, along with Spy and Inside Out. Rick and Morty, Game of Thrones, and Empire took over the television sets of millions. Everyone was donning Chelsea boots and roughed-up denim, while slogan tees were hella cool. One family would trade all that in for the chance to have their son and brother back. Macin Darrin Smith was born on April 7, 1998, to Darrin and Tracy. He was the youngest of 6. Macin grew up in Canada and in 2015 would make the move with his mom to Utah. Both she and Macin suffered from depression, and with all the other kids grown and out of the house, she thought a change of scenery with more sunshine would help both of them. Darrin would stay in Canada as he still had several construction jobs he was dealing with. He would visit and see them before moving permanently there in the summer. It should be noted that Tracy and the rest of the family were Mormons and involved with the Church of Latter-day Saints. Darrin was an agnostic. Macin was not a small 17-year-old. He stood 6 foot 4 inches and weighed around 200 pounds. He had blonde hair and blue eyes. Macin was very smart. He suffered from speech apraxia from a young age and had speech therapy that would make this better for him, but still left him with a slight speech impediment. This would cause Macin to be bullied and not have friends. He was considered a loner and loved anime and playing video games. The move to Utah was proving good for Macin, and he seemed happy. On Monday, August 31st, Macin texted his mom, asking if his grades were good enough to watch anime. She told him how good the report card was and that he needed to have his dad take him out to practice driving first. Macin would then tell his mom he didn't feel good. This could be because he didn't want to go out with his dad. It's said they did not have a great relationship. Macin was attending summer school as his credits from his Canadian school had not transferred to America. That night, when Tracy went to bed, she unplugged the internet as she did not want Macin staying up late watching anime. It should be noted that Tracy would usually hide the cord as well, but on this night she was feeling lazy and decided not to. Around 1:30 a.m., Darrin would go in to check on Macin, finding him watching anime after plugging the internet back in. Darrin said he took the laptop and cell phone. There was no fight. Macin gave them up willingly. I'm not sure about you all, but I don't know how many 17-year-olds would not have put up some kind of gripe about giving up their electronics. Darrin said he then went back to bed. On Tuesday, September 1st, Macin had school. Darrin claims he woke up at 7 a.m. and knocked on Macin's door. He then went back to his room and to sleep. Tracy claims, along with Darrin, to have heard Macin in the kitchen and then the garage door close. This is when she assumed he had headed to the bus stop. Tracy went into work later that morning, and Darrin went to work out at the gym, coming home later and doing yard work, according to him. Around 3:15 p.m., the bus let the kids off, and by 3:30 p.m., Macin was still not home. His dad had no way to call him as he took his phone and did not give it back the night before. Darrin would text Tracy and let her know Macin had not shown up from school. Tracy then thought to check her emails, and upon doing so, she saw she had one from the school, stating Macin had not showed up that day. Some sources say a neighbor did see him walking to the bus stop. However, it cannot be confirmed. Tracy would leave work early. Once home, she went to Macin's room. As she went to open his door, she realized it was locked. Thinking it was odd, but not alarmed, they decided to pick the lock and enter. Upon first looking around, they found nothing. This would change a couple days later when they researched Macin's room and found his school books and supplies hidden in his closet, and his wallet in his desk with a 2 or 3 page note, depending on which source you read. Much of the note has not been released. Some parts would later be made public via a warrant. Both parents were mentioned in the note and not talked highly of. It spoke of how unhappy he was and that he was done. By 10 p.m., Darrin had called the police. Tracy also called Macin's siblings and would tell them that he was missing. They would all say they were on their way, according to their mom. A search would ensue, but no sign of Macin. Darrin and Tracy took polygraphs, and Tracy says they both passed with flying colors. The police have declined to comment on this. Days turned into years, and there was still no sign of Macin. Some people have claimed to see him in various spots and states, yet none of them have ever turned out to be him. It should be noted that while living in Canada in 2013, Macin had attempted to run away, taking a sleeping bag, some food, and a resume to prove he could make it on his own. But by midnight, and of his own choice, he would be back home as it was freezing outside. Some would speculate because of this attempt maybe he tried to run away again. Macin had always talked about going to California and living the surfer beach bum lifestyle. He had mentioned this to his neighbor as well, saying, "Don't you just wish you could leave and start over?" His mom would laugh and say yeah when he would talk this way, telling him, "Let me know before you go." Macin would tell her he probably wouldn't. Tracy at the time thought nothing of this. Looking back, she believes he was telling her what he was going to do. In September of 2015, a massive search would take place. The parents were widely scrutinized for not showing up on the 26th and 27th. However, they had been there the rest of the time. Tracy would tell news outlets that the police had told them not to show up on those 2 days, as they could find their own child dead and the police did not want that. It should be noted that there is footage of them at the search bundled up with other volunteers. In 2016, police would notice some inconsistencies in the stories of Tracy and Darrin, mainly of his timeline of events. Darrin's membership card was used that morning at 7:45 a.m. The issue here is Macin's bus picked him up at around 7:41 a.m., and it said they only lived about 10 minutes from the gym. If this is so, then there's no way that he heard him leave for school that morning. He would have either been gone on his way to the gym, or he would have physically seen Macin leaving, as he would have been leaving for the gym at the same time. This would prompt the police to put a GPS tracker on the truck of Darrin. Another reason the police said they did this is because Darrin would go on independent searches for his son alone. Darrin had also told an original detective on the case that he had never seen Macin or heard him that morning, but he thought it unlikely he left in the night. When it came out that Darrin had been being tracked, he said he was glad and that he had nothing to hide. With all the rumors and speculation online, he was glad he could finally clear his name. As one can imagine, this took a toll on Darrin and Tracy, and after over 30 years of being married, they would divorce in 2018. This was odd for some people, as one can imagine. Something like this can either bring you closer or tear you apart. Nothing publicly states why they decided on the divorce, or even if they still get along. There has been a lot of speculation in this case about what has happened to Macin, and because this has been so publicized on social media, the theories have run rampant. A lot of sleuthers feel that his dad had something to do with him vanishing. Others think he left home and started anew because he did not like the fact that he was almost 18 and had no freedom, so to speak. There will be links at thecertifiedroracle.com to a few YouTube videos, as there is so much on this case that it will leave you with more questions than answers. If you have any information on this case, please call the St. George Police Department at 435-627-4300. Once again, that's the St. George Police Department at 435-627-4300. Case number 1254151. As always, thank you for listening. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want more content like this. As always, this is the Chronikle signing off.